Oh my god! I keep doing this. This is so frustrating. This is the third time I'm doing this video because look at this. I already deleted them, but I keep cutting these videos off too quick. I keep accidentally pressing spacebar after like 2 minutes of recording, and it's on OBS on the button that says stop recording. So when I press the spacebar, it stops recording. So I'm doing this video for the third or fourth time now. I've probably said the same thing so many friggin' times. 30 minutes later, like holy crap. So here we go again. Let's go through it all again. So today was good. Sorry, it's just sound like a broken record. I've done this so many times now. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't turn off the video this time. Today was good. So this is the P&L here. It was on two different stocks, CRME, PRPO. What I was trying to say before is that CRME was the leading gapper, and it just kind of looked like crap pre-market. So this is... So does this chart. Okay, pre-market it looked kind of like this. So that's not a really good flag. That's not like... That's nothing special. It sold off quite a bit. But it was the leading gapper, so I knew that people would be watching it. So I was waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Because, you know, that's when shorts would be covering, that shorted it out of the gate as like a stop loss potentially, or that's where a lot of people who are looking to get long would get in. So that's what I was waiting for. So the bell rang, it came down, it made a nice little hammer candle there, you can see it. And then I tried to get in right at 210, and that's exactly what I did. So let's watch the video for the fourth time, and I will show you guys what happened. Oh no, that's okay.
I thought I was recording, but I wasn't recording.
Okay, that was one of the ones I just recorded. That's not the right one. This one. Here we go. Where'd it go? Okay. So I recorded it after I started because I forgot that I wasn't recording, but I got in here at 210. I got in with 1,000 shares. So immediately I got out with most of those shares because I'm only supposed to be using around 400 or 500 shares, and I know that I don't want to take more risk than I should be right now, so I tried to get out with those quicker and just kind of solidify a little profit, and that's exactly what I did right here. But if I was using closer to 1,000 shares normally, I wouldn't have sold out so soon because I did leave money on the table for the potential move closer to whether it's the pivot here, the pre-market pivot, which is the same as this pivot right here, or potentially move back to pre-market highs, or to even break it. So I definitely left money on the table, but that's because I was using a lot more shares today than I should have been. So this is when PRPO started popping up. There was no way to get in. I was slowly scaling out of CRME. I sold another 100 shares into that push at 30. I probably, seeing the volume here peaking, I probably should have sold more sooner. But instead, I thought it was going to make another move, so I averaged down another 200 shares, and that's where I screwed up. I should not have done that. I could have been up maybe closer to $100 on this name, but I got in, 200 more shares right here as it was dropping, and then it kept dropping, and I realized my mistake with this peaking volume, so I just got out. I was like, yeah, I screwed up. Just get out. Just get out, and sold 200, and then I sold the whole thing. $50 profit, which is pretty much where it was before, so that's fine. And I was looking for a good spot to get into PRPO, so I got in for the break of $1, and I bought in with 2,000 shares. Now that's way more than I usually use, right? So, okay, I didn't stop the recording this time. That's good. So, what I did was I got in, reduced my exposure or my risk by reducing my exposure time. So I have 1,000 right now, and then as I saw it coming through back through $1 with really good volume. The volume was ramping up. I added the 2,000 shares. It breaks through, and then I instantly take out half of the shares. So I put them up on the ask, and they get filled at 104. So 5 or 6 cents here on 1,000 shares, $40, and then, you know, 1,000 shares is still a little too much for me right now, at least. So I try and get out another 500, put them up at 107. I don't get filled. I think this thing is done. So I put them up. See what I did here. I put up another 300 at 103. They get filled, and I put up another, the rest of them, 700 at 103. Now, I shouldn't have put them all up. I should have left 200 or 300 shares. I keep saying this, and let it ride and get stopped out on the way down if I'm wrong. Because if it keeps moving, there's no good entry, and this thing kept moving. So if I was just holding on to the shares, it would have been a lot easier. Kind of like I did in the last one, but this one maybe has a little more potential. So it ended up surging, all the way into a circuit breaker halt. So it moved more than 20% within the first 15 minutes of the day in a 5-minute period, whereas if it's after the first 15 minutes, so after 9:45, it only has to move 10% to get halted in either direction. I think that's how it works. So you can see how it trades here. It gets stuck at 134, 135, and then the bids start just ramping, like the bids start stacking up. So you know it's trading as if it's about to get halted. Everything is printing at 134. There's buyers, there's nothing going through at a higher price. So I try and get in, I get filled for 500 shares, and it ended up being a 10-minute halt. So when it unhalts, I make another conservative but relatively correct decision. I dump it all right away, as I see what I thought was weakness, but really it didn't actually follow through with that weakness. So maybe selling 300 shares into that and holding on to 200. So I sold right away at 145, just as it starts surging all the way to 165, pretty much. Right into another circuit breaker halt, just like that. All the shorts were getting squeezed, they had to cover, all these new buyers were coming in, look, the bids are stacking up. I tried to get filled again, I didn't, I canceled it, whatever. I could have had another 20 cents on 500 shares, that would have been like another $100. I wasn't trading, well, I was trading well, maybe my focus was a little off. I talked yesterday about how I was dealing with something that was happening in my family for the past couple weeks. Someone was in the hospital. It was just kind of stressful. So I know that carries over into trading. You really need to keep your emotions in check and be really responsible and mindful of them, because it can affect the way you trade. It 100% affects the way you trade. Trading is really easy, like pressing buttons, looking at charts. This is not hard stuff at all. What's hard is following the rules, and it makes it hard to follow the rules when you're really emotional about other things. So I still think I handled that well. And after this, I was done. I was done with the day. I wrote down the stocks that I traded. I wrote down, you know, like yesterday, I used more size, but I was way more disciplined for reasons like, you know, I would take an extra 1,000 shares and then instantly sell them into a move, not holding on and increasing my risk by holding onto it for longer. So I left money on the table, but I traded pretty well. Like, that's pretty solid. I followed all the rules except for the size. You know, I've been taking more size to take advantage of this market, but that's not really necessarily a good excuse, because it's not about making a lot of money right now. It's more about proving to myself that I have a lot of discipline. So I'll try and keep it lower. Tomorrow, like I said, maybe I usually keep those bursts of high position size to when I'm absolutely sure, and after I already see that the market has a lot of strength. So I waited for PRPO to show me that, and then I went in with big size. And a lot of other traders have that same mentality, so that's exactly why maybe the second move was bigger. So it went up to $1, but then it surged all the way to 165 through like 2 different halts, or like a halt or something, right? So I think I'm getting the psychology on point. I'm keeping way better control of my emotions, and you can see just based on the metrics of profit loss, I'm becoming a much better trader. Like, look what happened last month. I know I was using less shares, but like I had a lot more red. I was following a lot less rules. Like, There's a lot more no's in here than yeses than compared to this month. Like, I know that this number is low for 1 month. You know, I could make that in a day in a regular job. And this is much higher, but I've not only doubling the share size, I've been using a lot more shares this week. But I've also, like I said, I'm a way better trader. Like, I cut my losses quicker. Like everything that I'm trying to work on, I'm improving. And I still have a long, long way to go. But so far, this is what I made this month. My daily average is okay. That works out to about $20,000 a year. That changes so wildly that I don't care about it. It's going to keep going up and up and up, hopefully. But I'm just going to continue what I'm doing. Maybe relax a bit on the share size. And try and finish this week green. It took me so long to even finish 1 week green, let alone 1 day green in the past. So I'm really, really happy with myself, what I've done. And hopefully I don't have a red day that wipes this all out. The next red day that I have, let's keep it small, because I'm using a lot of shares. So if I slip up and I don't keep one of those stops tight, or I average down and make it a friggin' nightmare, then I could have a massive red day. Because, I mean, I guess on these days I revenge trade and I do use a lot of size like I am now. So my problem isn't using a lot of size, it's controlling those emotions. And I've been doing that just exceptionally well. So I'll stop rambling again. I say this every single time. I ramble like crazy. So thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.